that frustration. There were days when I just couldn't take it anymore. I reached the breaking point one afternoon when Tag was 16 years old. The two older boys were screaming at each other about some nonsense, and I warned them that that was enough. They just had to stop. I probably warned them in a pretty loud voice. By then, Tag was much taller than I was, and rather than stopping, he turned and started yelling at me. I don't know what got into me. I have never done anything like this before or since, but I just couldn't take it anymore. I hauled off and punched him in the stomach, knocking the wind out of him. I don't know who was more stunned, me or Tag. Neither one of us could believe it. Mitt and the other boys came running from all over the house. Tag was just looking at me, and everybody else started laughing. My father was in town and had witnessed this outburst. He looked at me and said, "Oh, Ann, what have these boys done to you?" So rather than being a perfect sitcom family like the Nelsons, we were just like every other family we knew. We had our ups and, as in this instance, a down. We also had our family lore. None of us will forget the night one of the boys, who was then 4 years old, was sleepwalking and somehow mistook our bedroom for the bathroom. Mitt and I leaped out of bed like it was on fire, where our son simply turned around and returned to his own completely dry bed. We always had a dog, and once we had birds. When Matt discovered 6 abandoned hatchlings in a nest in our roof, he decided to raise them. I ended up digging for worms in our backyard, and he fed them. He even taught them to fly, balancing them on his arm and jumping off our rock wall, forcing them to flap their wings. Whenever he was playing basketball in the driveway, the birds would appear and land on his head and arms. The UPS driver and the mailman got the same treatment. Eventually, those birds left our nest. We also had mice. Lots and lots of mice. Josh bought 4 male white mice for his high school project, although, as it turned out, only one of them was actually male. For years, I had been hoping for more females in our house, but this definitely was not what I had in mind. Within a few months, we were raising about 100 mice in what had been my rarely used sewing room. Inevitably, they escaped, and we spent days finding them in every corner of our house. While the boys were growing up, we were very comfortable financially, but not wealthy. That came later, when Mitt's company, Bain Capital, became more successful than either one of us could have ever imagined. We had gotten married when we both were still in college. We paid $62.50 a month rent for our tiny apartment in Provo, Utah. We had 2 folding chairs. Our dining table was an ironing board that folded into the wall, and we were as happy as we could be. While both of our parents were successful and affluent, their attitude about life was that you work hard. You don't expect anyone to give you anything, and you live on what you earn. In fact, soon after Mitt and I married, a large box was delivered to our apartment. It had been sent by my father. When I opened it, I was surprised to see it was a microfiche reader. There was a note attached explaining that he was hoping I might be able to do some work for him in case we needed extra money. Some documents had been damaged in a fire and needed to be transcribed. His way of helping us was providing an opportunity to work. Mitt was still in school when our first 3 children were born, so we certainly needed that money. We saved everywhere we could. We bought the boys' clothes at the Carter's outlet in Boston. I did all the cooking. I cut everybody's hair, and I paid all the monthly bills. Mitt is very mechanical, and he made all the repairs in the house, except for the wiring. He changed the oil in our car, and he even did our laundry and ironed his own shirts. Our children learned how to work by watching us. It was a joyful time. Some of our best times together were spent in the dark. As our boys were growing up, fairly regularly, each one of them would tiptoe into our bedroom late at night, sit on the couch at the base of our bed, and begin talking about whatever was bothering them. Something about being in the dark, their brothers asleep, and the closed door allowed them to open up to us about their most personal thoughts. They talked about problems at school, dilemmas with their friends, or their hurt feelings. Sometimes, admittedly, I would fall asleep, and even Mitt did once, and the strange, contented sound he made instantly became part of our family.